Hey guys. So it is 5 o'clock on a Friday again, and I have to confess that I totally forgot about doing my Friday fast class this week. I've been so engrossed in redeveloping my website and also on the side. I've been binge watching Netflix Ozark, and I just got to sort of 10 minutes ago, and the notification popped up on my calendar to say, Christy, 10 minutes until your Friday fast class. And I've gone, oh shit, I totally forgot about it. So luckily I know what I'm talking about. And so this isn't going to be too difficult, but yeah, I was in this like lazy Friday afternoon kind of focused mission of getting something done and totally forgot. So thank you for joining me here. I can see that I've got somebody looking in, which is fantastic. If you are live with me, can you just throw your comments into the comment box to let me know who it is that's here with me? It's always nice if I can interact with you, and please specifically ask questions if you have any questions. So I'm coming to you absolutely raw in in my no makeup, just teaching what I can teach without thinking about what I look like. So apologies for that, but you know, I'm real. I'm trying to be real today. So here we go. Today we are talking about how to use online platforms and get confident in outsourcing. So one of the things that I did very early in the piece when I first started my business 10 or 11 years ago was I was really resourceful. And I think that's probably one of the things that can be a real superpower for you. If you can learn to be really resourceful and know how and where to find places to find those resources, then it's going to make outsourcing for you a lot easier. Now, it is a challenge. You know, I've had 10 years of mistakes and errors and, you know, trying to navigate these freelance platforms, which isn't always easy. It can be very hit and miss, but there are some easy things that you can do to make jumping onto these platforms and actually navigating them a lot easier. Oh, someone's listening in. Thank you so much. Please pop your name and let me know who you are if you're commenting, because I can't always see your name if you're not signed up to StreamYard. So please pop that in. So just talking about some of these platforms, what I want to show you today is a couple of tricks and a couple of tips on how to use them. I'm going to use Upwork specifically. We could tap into Fiverr as well. It's a very similar way. I think the process is the same. The thing that is different is the type of platform and how you go about it, but the process is always the same. So the first thing you need to think about is what it is you're wanting someone to be doing for you, because each platform has a different way of managing their freelancers. So let's just say, for example, you just want a really quick video intro and outro. Okay, so you just want someone to create a really nice little, you know, intro to your video and then an outro to your video. Now, going to somewhere like Upwork, for example, that would be actually quite a huge platform to try to do to find someone to do a small job like that. You're better off going to a place like Fiverr, which is, you know, really, really structured for that kind of work, graphic design work, video overlays, you know, those, you know, chalkboard explainer videos, that sort of thing. Avatars, illustrations, comic stuff, all of that is really great on platforms like Fiverr. So that's where you would go for those. If you're looking for a bigger job, something that's going to be more longer term, or let's just say that you're looking for someone to do a big copywriting job on your website, or you're looking for somebody to do a lot of research for you, that is online research, then you might go to somewhere like Upwork to do that. And I'm just going to show you some little tips around how to do that. Now, I have got lots of little interesting downloads that you can download. There's the 100 things that a VA can do for you. I think that's a really interesting, it's a great download for you if you're looking for ideas around what someone might do for you. Freelance sites are great for that. But I would suggest if you want to just experiment and have a go, pick something that might cost you $20, for example. So if you've got design work, then go in there with $20 as a budget. Pick something that's not critical. Pick something that it doesn't matter if you've got 1 or 2 or 3 people, working on it, and then you can just see what output comes back for you. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways that we can go into it. I'm going to share my screen for you so that you can see how that works. So this is Upwork. And Upwork is a great platform. I've seriously used this religiously for about 10 years in finding good talent or getting good jobs done. It's very good for quick stuff. It's very good for stuff that you don't want someone dedicated to do a task consistently. So it's good for one-off things. It's good for someone where you've got short projects that you want them to do quick projects for. So let's just say, for example, we're looking for somebody to, let's just say, review copy on our website or to prepare copy for us on our website. So I always suggest that rather than posting a job and seeing what comes back to you, because the struggle that I find when you're posting something out and you're getting hundreds of replies back, it's going to take you a lot longer to sift through all the replies and see whether that person is going to be the right person for you. So my suggestion is that you actually do the searching yourself. So you might spend an hour a day just to kind of define what it is you're looking for and have a look at basically every candidate individually. So the first thing that you would do, we'll have a look here, is we do a search. So let's just say website copywriting is what you're looking for. So you type that in as a search. Here is where it gets really interesting and where you can actually really define the type of person that you're wanting to look for. So you might go into here and say, all right, well, I actually do have a budget, so I kind of need to set a filter for that. So let's just say we only want freelance. Now, you can do freelancers and agencies. So you could actually do an agency because sometimes they have a number of people. I tend to like working with an individual rather than an agency. That's why I always just choose freelancers only. Now, hourly rate you can choose. So let's just say, for example, you might have a budget or you know that if you were to get a copywriter here in Australia, it'd be $120 an hour. Let's just say that your budget is half of that. So you don't want to spend, let's just say, any more than $60 an hour. So you can set that budget and only people that have that will pop up. Job success is really important. I always put 90% and up. Or I put rising talent, because rising talent are new to the platform, but they're actually people that are getting really good feedback. So you do actually want to put them in there. The earned amount isn't so important unless you really want to make sure that they've already had heaps and heaps of experience. So you could put in there that they've earned 10K or more, which means that they're probably quite good at it. I tend to just leave it at any amount earned for the moment. But what I do change is the hours that have been billed. I always want them to bill 100+ hours. I really like that because it means that I'm getting somebody that's actually, got a history. They've done a fair bit of work. Look, the English level, I wouldn't bother selecting that because it's actually self-graded. So they could say that they've got fluent when really they've only got basic. So it's actually really not that important. So they're the key things. If you specifically only want their location to be in a certain country, then you can actually type in the country here. I tend to like seeing who pops up. I like seeing what's going on here. So when we get to this bit here, you can actually start sifting through. So let's just say here, we've got Ina, who has earned quite a bit. She's $59 an hour, which is always negotiable. She's from the UK, so that's probably a good thing because she's used to writing in the English that we're used to writing. She's an expert copywriter, SEO optimized, blah, blah, blah. Now, she's got 11 jobs that match our search, so we actually want to go and check her out. We want to see what's going on. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to read how she sells herself, okay? Because if she's a copywriter, you want to actually read through and go, well, hang on a minute, why would I work with you? And she's basically answered that question there for you. So that's actually quite good. Then the next thing that you want to do is you actually want to work through her history and feedback. So what is she actually writing about at the moment? Copywriting for a website, 2 pages. Now, that costs $400. So this gives you an indication of what she's charging, so you can see whether that fits with your budget. It's fantastic if you can read the comments that the clients that she's worked with are putting in. You know, I think this is really great. She looks like she's got some fantastic experience. Startup website, you know, she's done $38 an hour, but she's worked 40 hours for them. She's done heaps of work. They've hired her full time. I mean, how good is that? She's obviously pretty good. So I think looking through the feedback definitely gives you a good indication. Now, the other thing here is that she's actually putting in her portfolio of work. So you can actually see what sort of stuff, you know, she's writing. So we've got copywriting. What is she writing here? So you can click on it and she'll actually have a link through and show you what she's written, which is fantastic. So you can see whether she writes in the style that you write in, which I think is really gold, you know. Yes, you know, it's really easy for them to cheat on that and to say that they did it when they didn't. But more often than not, it's backed up by the jobs that she's taken and the feedback. Having a look at the certifications, she's got an English proficiency exam, that's fine. I always find the employment history really interesting to see what she's done previously. I mean, she's had a career in writing, so, you know, I think she's also got a Bachelor of Fine Arts, Public Relations and Advertising. I mean, this chick is really, really qualified. So I think having a look at that is going to make you feel much, much better about what she's actually done, okay? So let's just say, for example, you like the look of her, she's in budget. What you would then do, so there's a number of things that you can do here. And please, if you've got any questions as you're listening through to this, please pop them into the comments and I'll be happy to answer them as we go. So a number of things that you can do here. One of the things you can do is you could just invite her to a job straight away. If you want her to work for you straight away, fantastic. You'll invite her to a job and we'll go through how we do that in a minute. If you just want to send her a message and get a little bit more information about her or find out how much she might charge for a specific job, you click on send a message. This then gives you the option to talk about your budget, anything else, and then you basically write her a message as you normally would and say, hey, you know, I've got this project, here's the brief, this is what I'd be looking for. Can you give me an idea on how much you might charge for that? And then that saves sort of the to and froing and, you know, because when you select or post a job, you've actually got to put your budget in there. And I prefer not to do that. I prefer to find out exactly how much, you know, how much you might want to pay first. So I think once you've identified that, that's going to be the, you know, that's going to be the key thing in your messaging that you're going to be able to get from her first to find out whether that's going to work for you. So that's the first thing. If you get a message back and she says, yep, I'm happy to go ahead, then you can invite to job. Now, this is the bit that where you've really got to be very specific. Okay, so there's a number of things that you can do here. And I find this really interesting because there's a number of ways that I'll talk about when you're talking to someone specific and you're actually interviewing them specifically and posting a job that you're only sending to 1 or 2 people, you don't have to go into as much detail as if you were posting a job and having 100 people apply for it. We'll go through that a bit later because there's some specific things that you can do there that will actually filter out the people that are really serious and qualified. This is a really good way, though, of specifically jumping into something. So you can say here, I'd like to invite you, please review the job post and apply if you're available. Okay, so you say continue, and then you've got to actually create the job. So let's just say website copywriting is the task. Category is copywriting. That's great. It generally, brings it up for you. You say next. Now, this is really important, your description. You have to build a brief that is very specific because we're talking about working with someone remotely. If you're not clear, then how do you expect that they're going to understand what you want them to do? So they give you some tips here. Okay, what is the deliverable? What are you looking for them to do for you? In what time frame? It's got to be time frame. It's got to be how many words, it's really got to be very concise. Okay, you can add files, upload files, do whatever you want to do. Okay, then you say next. Okay, it's telling me that I've got to do more characters. Just put in whatever and say next. But then when we get to next, so this is where you sort of say what type of project do you have. So this could be a one-time, ongoing, complex. Let's just say that it's a one-time project for now. You just want them to do one job for you. Now, there are screening questions that you can add, okay? So you can add specific questions about, do you have any suggestions to make it run successfully? So all these little things you can just tick, and then those questions get added, and then that person has to answer those questions. Do you require a cover letter? You can say, yes, I require a cover letter. And then we go to next. So you can then select all of the expertise here, which I think is really quite cool. And with the expertise, you can just say that the optional services, you can put what's important to you. You can search skills. You can type in the ones that you want. It's quite handy, but you just walk your way through each step. What level of experience? So you might say, look, I'm really looking for an expert here. And then the next bit, who can see the job? Now, this is where it's really important. I always put invite only because I don't want it going out to everyone. Now, if you specifically wanted to throw this out and throw it out so that it was public, then you would select anyone. And it would go public and you'd get 100 responses. Probably about 10% of them would actually be relevant to what you're looking for. So it does take a lot of time to look at that. That's why I prefer doing it this way. Now, how many people do you need? Just one freelancer for now. Talent preferences, if you want to put that in, I never do. I don't think it's that important. And then how would you like to pay for your freelancer? So if you have received a fixed price, I always suggest when it's a project that you get a fixed price. So get a fixed price. You would have done that already in the message and you would have confirmed that they were happy with that fixed price because you then put in the budget. Okay, so let's just say the budget was $800. You'd go, all right, there we go. Okay, so then we go to the next step. So we review it. Are we happy with it all? Blah, 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 blah. Everything's there. And then you say what team it is. Okay, so we're not going to post this, obviously, because otherwise I would be posting that through to someone. But once you post that job, it then gets sent to that person. You can then use that to then go back and look at everybody else that was on that list of freelancers, okay? So you then just basically send that job. So if we were to go back, website copywriting, And you can save people. Okay, so let's just say I won't filter it because we got the idea there. Let's just say you just click this little heart and you say copywriting for website. And then you're saving her, and then that makes it easier. Once you've seen them all, you could do that to everybody. And then you go back to your saved freelancers, and then you can invite to job. Okay. And then when you go invite to job, blah, 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 continue. And you've already got a post there. I didn't save it, obviously, but once you've got it there, you can select what you created. So that job post that you created, and then you can just go along and select them all. So that's one way of going through and finding the people that you want and hiring them for the work. Okay. So I think, that gives you a little bit of an overview. Hopefully that kind of helps you with the process of going through using Upwork. It's a really, look, there's so many amazing contractors that are on this site. It's just, I love it so much. I love being able to go there and just searching for all sorts of different types of freelancers. Not all of them are going to say yes, okay? So not all of them are going to be interested in the work that you're providing them. So you need to really, really make sure that what you're offering them is attractive. Because if you can think about it, these sites are noisy sites. They've got thousands of people contacting them to work with them because they're coming up well in searches, right? They're running their own business, and so it's coming up so well. So you've got to be the one that stands out from the crowd. So what are you offering that is going to make them, really jump on your job? Don't lowball them on the price, okay? They've got their rate up there. It is negotiable, but don't be stupid. Go and have a look at the previous work that they've done in the last probably only 2 months. See what rate they're charging other people, and don't go lower than that, because otherwise they're just going to say no. And if they're any good at what they do, they've got plenty of work. They don't need your work. So I think it's really important that you really focus on, making yourself look good and making the job that you have look really good. Now, this all sounds really easy, but it's not always easy. I have made so many mistakes on this site, and I've thrown money at things that just didn't work. And the reason why they haven't worked for me usually is because I haven't really been clear in my brief, or I've kind of jumped into it half-heartedly thinking that, I could just get someone to do it, but I really hadn't thought through the process of what I wanted them to do. So I think as long as you can sit down and you can be very clear about exactly what you want them to do, then finding someone to do it for you isn't so hard if you know how to use the platform. So my challenge for you, this probably for next week, is to think about how you could do a tiny little task, take it off your plate, experiment a little bit, see what you come up with, then post in the group for me and let me know what you achieved. If you have any troubles, any concerns, any issues with kind of walking through the process, let me jump on with you. I'm happy to walk you through any questions that you have. Have a go at it, because it really is quite fun. Now, I don't recommend doing this for long-term VA work. So if you've got, a task that is a consistent, you need it done every day, it's critical to your business, I wouldn't suggest using the freelance site for that, because to be honest with you, the minute someone gets a better job or a better offer, then you're probably not going to hear from them, particularly if you're only giving them 1 or 2 hours, of work every now and then. Whereas, that's why we've got the business that we've got in Virtual Elves, is because we're offering that consistent service of a dedicated VA. This is more just for those quick projects that you need help with that you can get off your plate. Hey, Shan. Yeah, please call me. You know, I'm here to help. I've been doing this for 10 years. I actually started using these platforms before they were even a thing. A lot of them were in beta format still. And I was using them very, very early in the piece. And in fact, my very first VA, Cherry, who is still with me, this is nearly 10 years later, I hired her off what was called Odesk, which is now Upwork, which I just showed you. So I actually hired her first thing, you know, off that platform. And, you know, it was the first time I'd ever looked at it, but I didn't even know what I wanted, but I knew the type of person that I was looking for. So when I had looked at, you know, a person's profile, it wasn't necessarily their experience. It was how they presented themselves, the values that they showed up with. When I interviewed them, it was their interest in what I was doing. It was all of those sorts of things. So you shouldn't treat this any differently to if you are hiring somebody to come and work with you in the office. You know, I think that's the important thing. If you can actually treat them in the same way, then you're going to get much more response from them. And you're also going to get much more out of the relationship if you're actually treating them like that. So yeah, I think it's just one of those things that takes practice. You know, it's like if you try something new for the first time, you're never going to get it right the first time. There's always going to be little things. But if I can help you kind of take that leap into it, holding your hand and making it a bit easier, then it's a lot more effective and it'll be a lot more fun. And the results that you get out of it will be a lot more fun. So please contact me. I really, really would love to see more people jumping onto these platforms and giving it a go. You know, throw it out at me in the group and say, hey, Christy, I need a video editor. Where do you suggest I go for that? Here's what I specifically want. Let me look over your brief for you, make sure that you've covered everything, and then go for it. Have a go, have a play with it, spend $20 and see what it gives you. Because I guarantee you, once you start, it's kind of, it's a bit infectious. And it's a bit addictive. You just want to keep having a go at it, because if you get a good result, then it makes you kind of go, oh, that was actually really easy. I think I might have another go. So yeah, give it a go. So that's my live class for today, 30 minutes. Hopefully that was really helpful. And yeah, look, thank you for jumping on, guys. For those of you that did watch live for me, I really appreciate it. Have a fabulous weekend. And hopefully I can see some of your little outsourcing efforts spring to life next week. Take care. See you soon.